A very big shout out to eSpace Productions who very kindly provided the thumbnail for this video. You can check out his DeviantArt portfolio in the description. Greetings and salutations, it is Lord Slar here, coming back at you with another video, and the topic of today's is the top 5 companions from Doctor Who. So, companions are quite important in Doctor Who, not just as somebody to travel with the Doctor and as good characters, they've got the very important job of giving the audience something to link to. It doesn't matter if they're an alien or a completely different person for what the audience member is. It's somebody who's at least a little bit closer to the level that the audience is on. Somebody for the audience to feel lost with, when at least when they first watch the show, to kind of get used to it, and almost as just a way to help people understand what's going on, because not everybody understands the scientific mumbo jumbo, and sometimes the scientific mumbo jumbo isn't scientific mumbo jumbo, and it's actually just mumbo jumbo in general, which doesn't mean anything. But oh well, that's their purpose, and it's been done very well a few times. It's not been done very well quite a few times, but today, rather than looking at the negatives, we're going to look at the positives when we look at my top 5 companions. There's going to be no honourable mentions today, just because I think I want to do a separate video where I talk about companions, maybe, or maybe put it in another video. I'm not sure. It's just, I feel like I need more time to properly talk about all the companions, but I just thought I'd share my top 5 with you anyway, because, well, I reached 200 subscribers. I wasn't going to do a 200 subscriber special. Don't consider this a 200 subscriber special, but whatever. I'm just throwing it out there, and I hope you enjoy. So at number 5, we have Romana 1 as portrayed by Mary Tam. So some people may find this quite a controversial choice, as there's a lot of people who really like Romana 2, as played by Lala Ward. But personally, I think Mary Tam's incarnation is quite a bit better. I can see why you might like Lala Ward's more, but whatever, opinions, that's just how it is. But anyway, so some people might see this as going back on my previous point about the companions being eyes for the audience to see through, because, you know, she's studied on Gallifrey, she's got intellect beyond our imagination. She's almost, if not as clever, or maybe even more clever than the Doctor. We don't really know. But yeah, I'd kind of argue against that by the fact that she's lived in isolation all her life. She's, you know, had a very comfy, you know, just sitting there, not really, like, she knows of what's outside, but she hasn't experienced it. So it's something that the audience can almost see through. Mary Tam is, well, as Romana 1 is, because obviously on this alien world, the audience, it's new to them. It may not be new to the Doctor, he kind of knows what's going on mostly, but, you know, Romana 1 won't know what's going on, so I think that's how I'd defend that aspect anyway. But there's plenty to like about her personality too. She's a great character, portrayed brilliantly. Mary Tam's a very, very good actor. I just like how, I don't know, defiant, well, not defiant, but I hate this word, but I'm going to use it anyway. Sassy she is. She just won't take any of Tom Baker's shit. I'm talking about the Doctor there rather than the actor. And yeah, it is really fun to watch. They've got a great chemistry together, and overall, she's just really, really enjoyable in the role, and I love her. It's a brilliant companion. So at number 4, we have what some people might consider quite an odd choice. Vicki. Yeah, I know she doesn't score that well on What's Your Favourite Companion polls, and I know there's actually quite a few people who don't like her, but personally, I absolutely love her. Maureen O'Brien always puts in a brilliant performance, and the character herself is always written really well, always really enjoyable to watch, and generally just has great interactions with all of the characters she meets, which can't be said for quite a lot of companions when you think about it. Plus, her chemistry with William Hartnell is absolutely brilliant. Probably the best chemistry between Doctor and companion from that era. They just work so well together, like especially in the Crusade when they're stealing clothes from the market, or interacting in Richard the Lionheart's court, or in, you know, the end of the chase, beginning of the Time Meddler, when he's, you know, comforting him about Ian and Barbara. I always think that's really good to watch. Plus, she has a great chemistry with Peter Purves as well. It's a real shame she didn't stay on longer, and it was more or less the reason why she didn't stay on longer was because of a mistake. When she said, I want to leave at some point, they decided, oh, well, that means she wants to leave now. Let's give her an exit in the Mythmakers, which isn't that good, but oh well, it could have been a lot better. Plus, I think one thing which is quite good about her companion is that it almost encapsulates that childlike wonder of the show, just wandering through time, going to all these amazing places. Somehow, I just think she kind of works with that kind of aspect of it. I don't know, maybe I was just talking a load of crap in that last sentence, but whatever. I really like Vicki. She's a brilliant companion, and I have to say the best part is definitely her interactions with the other characters, because she's very good at that. Very good at that. So at number 3, we have Stephen. Oh, I love Stephen. He's so enjoyable to watch and so fun. He has a great chemistry with Hartnell, actually, even if it's not as good as Maureen O'Brien's, and as I mentioned before, he has a great chemistry with Maureen O'Brien. But yeah, he's a brilliant character to watch and amazing actor as well with Peter Purves, because obviously he had to carry a lot of the show in season 3 when Hartnell was getting iller and iller. And we've got episodes where with us like the Celestial Toymaker where Hartnell's effectively written out of it for most of the story, and he does a very good job at taking it over because, well, Peter Purves is a brilliant actor and Steven's a brilliant character, and he only gets even better in the Companion Chronicles with Big Finish and even the early adventures. But the Companion Chronicles do explore his character quite a lot more, and they're very, very enjoyable to watch. But one thing I really quite like about Steven's character is how he embodies everybody's inner revolutionary conscience in a way, by the fact that around he stands up, he shouts, he gets angry, and rightly so. I think it's particularly gripping and emotional in the massacre where basically he storms out the TARDIS because he disagrees with what the First Doctor was doing in that story, and he does come back in the end because Dodo runs into the TARDIS. But that scene where William Hartnell's just kind of sitting there talking to himself about how everybody's left, it's really, really sad. And in the massacre especially, I think Steven's a brilliant, that's easily his best TV story. He's a brilliant companion in that. He's a great character, really fun to watch. Purvis does a great job, and I just love Steven. So at number 2 we have Ian and Barbara. So they only just beat Steven, but they definitely needed to be on this list no matter what, because these are two brilliant companions who have a great chemistry together. I mean, I love Ian's kind of brave and caring nature, and Barbara's caring nature. And to be honest, Barbara is a really, really strong-minded character because she gets put through some real shit in the Hartnell era. I mean, just to name a couple of episodes, like when she's in the town that Elakia rules in the Crusade, or in the Keys of Marinus, both in the Snows of Terror and the Velvet Web. She's put through a lot of shit, and that's just to name 2 examples. And she still comes out of it, a very nice, very caring person. And those two are very good to watch together. I mean, it's probably the best kind of love thing that goes on in Doctor Who, just because it's very subtle and it grows over time. It doesn't just happen like that. They kind of start off as very good friends, almost like a kind of twinkle, which could mean something more, but nothing that you'd really notice on a first viewing. Although as it slowly goes along, they slowly get closer. Then you've just got in the Romans where they're teasing each other, they're getting, some pretty close contact, and you realise, yeah, the moment they leave in the chase, they're getting married, aren't they? And I think it's canon. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was somewhere in the Moffat era it mentioned them getting married, but I'll be fucked if I remember anything that happened in the Moffat era other than the really good stuff, which there isn't much of, and the shit stuff. I mean, the really, really shit stuff, which I can actually remember. But this isn't a negative video. This is a positive video. And I really, really like Ian and Barbara, and they're just great together. And I couldn't really put both of them on this list separately because they're inseparable. Let's face it, they are inseparable. So at number 1, I think you all saw this coming. Jamie McCrimmon. Oh, I do love Jamie. He's such a great companion for the Second Doctor and stayed with him for literally all of his era but one story. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think the main factor is the fact that his chemistry with Patrick Troughton is through the roof good. Like, no other Doctor Companion chemistry even gets close, meaning that even the lesser episodes are really, really enjoyable to watch just because those two are always putting in a great performance and clearly having the time of their lives. And but aside from that, he's a really good character. He may be a bit dim, he may be a bit innocent, but he's very loyal and he's willing to be brave. And even though he can be a bit sexist, a bit rude, a bit, basically from the 18th century, because back then things weren't that developed, he still comes off as a really nice person, and he has some very good chemistry with the companions. Maybe not so much with Ben and Polly, they kind of work together but not hugely, but with Victoria, I love their relationship. I know I said Ian and Barbara's is the best, but man, Jamie and Victoria come close, because, well, again, it's really subtle and it doesn't really work out in the end, and it's really sad for Jamie. I also quite like his relationship with Zoe, where it's kind of like she's the clever little sister which is always teasing him and is always like more clever than him, and he's always like, oh, like I don't know, I find that quite fun to watch. I also love him and Samantha in the Faceless Ones, which I'll leave you to watch if you haven't seen that already, because that's a brilliant story. But yeah, Jamie, by far my favourite companion. I absolutely love him. And I think that about wraps it up for this video. So I'd like to apologise for the complete and utter 60s bias, because, I love the 1960s Doctor Who more than any other era. But yeah, in fact, I retract my apology. Deal with it, because I'm a 60s elitist, and that's what you're subscribed to, and I'll see you back next time in another video.